I'm a 36-year-old woman, and when I was 26, I went through a life-altering breakup. To save you some time from reading so much, I'll just sum it up. It took me about 3 years to get back into a serious relationship. So about 2 months after my breakup, some female friends invited me over to this very large, old, and beautiful house that the two of them rented for the 4th of July. When I arrived at the house, they told me that they invited a guy friend who they wanted me to meet. I had seen his picture on one of their MySpace friends list, and I commented that he was cute at some point before, but they promised there was no pressure. I was, after all, mostly still a raw and tragic mess at this point. So the guy friend arrived and we were introduced. While he was not as cute as his profile picture, he was funny and easy to talk to. Besides, I wasn't looking for anything, so whatever. I then learned that he was quite taken by how gorgeous I was. Even though he chose to tell me that he was nervous when he first met me, he said I looked like a beast, whatever that means. We hung out that night, and when he asked for my number, I gave it to him because he seemed like a decent enough person. Fast forward 2 weeks or so, we've talked a little through text and instant messenger, and I've hung out with our group of mutual friends a handful of times. I make it very clear that I'm in no state to be in a relationship if he wants to try to take it there. He says he understands, but that he enjoys my company. And I said, fair enough. So one night after we've been out with our group at our usual bars and restaurants, I agreed to go back to his place with him. We hang out and, we do our adult things. No big deal. The next morning, we're hanging out and chatting a bit before I have to head home. At some point, he says,
You're a really heavy sleeper.
My initial reaction is to chuckle, and I agree that I sleep like a dead person. Before I catch something sort of odd in his tone that I can't put my finger on, I say,
Wait, what do you mean?
He stumbles over his words a little and he says,
I just honestly thought you were pretending to be asleep because you were making these little noises like you were enjoying yourself.
I felt like someone had poured ice water down my spine and was speechless for a moment before I said,
What did you do to me?
He blanched at my tone and quickly said,
Nothing, really. Once I realized you were really asleep, I stopped.
He refused to elaborate on that statement, but I felt absolutely sickened. In the months following this, he would text me obsessively, send me messages on MySpace at all hours of the night, telling me things like, have fun getting laid, you cunt. Apparently, this all stemmed from his inability to understand why I didn't want to be his girlfriend or see him anymore. He started flirting with my friends in an attempt to make me jealous, and even started trying to chat up the 15-year-old sister of my best friend. Except that his flirtation devolved into him saying that he hated her because she reminded him of me. In the end, his crazy behavior only stopped when one of my friends, who he said was disgusting because she was overweight, but she had pretty eyes, she responded to him positively to his advances. Today, they're still married, as far as I know. I contacted him about 5 years ago wanting to apologize for any pain that I might have caused him. He ended up making inappropriate comments on my Facebook pictures in the middle of the night and picking weird petty fights with my fiance in the comments. Even though he is married to a psychiatrist, his actions made it abundantly clear that growth and rational behavior still aren't his strong suits. I now live 700 miles away from where I first met him. I moved back to my hometown 2 years ago though. Unfortunately, I learned about a year ago that he now lives in the same state. Thinking about him still makes my skin crawl. I live in fear of him realizing that I'm a relatively short drive away. Hopefully he doesn't find me again.